Hello and welcome to Learn to Become Radio. My name is Aaliyah Clausen and I'm one of the team members here. And at Learn to Become, we help people who are drowning in the details of life create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And today's podcast is a really fun one. It's one that Coach Jill did with one of our Step Mastery members named Yaisa. And I loved hearing from Yaisa about how she's used her Command Central in work and family life and home life, all the different categories of life. And also, especially when she was able to travel internationally to return home and help her father when he was recovering from a life-saving surgery, and how she was still able to balance things going on at home and work and his care. And it was just such an inspiration of hearing how even going through something so difficult, so busy, so intense, that she was still able to feel that she could stay grounded in the different areas of life and not feel like the overwhelm was just completely overtaking her. So you're going to really enjoy this podcast, and I hope you are able to listen to the whole thing if possible, just because there are so many gems in here. And no matter where you're at with your journey, whether you're a member of one of our formal programs, including our STEP program, it stands for Steps to Everyday Productivity, and you can find more details about that at learndobecome.com/step program. Or if you're a brand new listener to Learn to Become, I hope this is inspiring as someone that you can look up to and say, all right, Yaisa has been in my situation before, and look where she's at now, and I can do the same thing if I want to start implementing some of these principles slowly but surely. And one kind of fun note to add onto this is I wanted to look it up really quick, but make sure it was the right person, and it was. And inside of our Step Mastery program, we have the Facebook group that's private, and all Step Mastery members are invited to join and share photos of their progress or ask questions, things like that. And there are so many times where someone will post a question, and it's not necessarily a super hard question, but maybe it deals with the emotions behind getting organized, or maybe it deals with something that's a little bit more in-depth or complex, and I'm thinking, okay, I should probably weigh in on this as one of the team members and one of the admins of the group. I could probably give my 2 cents on this and just share how I approach the situation and give them my advice. And I go to the comment section, and Yaisa has already commented the exact same thing that I was going to comment, and then I say, okay, we're set. I don't even need to comment anymore because Yaisa has it handled. And I am seriously so grateful for not only Yaisa, but all of our Step Mastery members and all of the people here at Learn to Become who are just so excited to lift other people up and say, I'm going to cheer you on. I'm going to give you my best advice. I'm going to tell you that you can do this and give you these really actionable things that you can do to make this happen so that you can implement the different principles for handling your projects and your tasks and your routines in your life. And I just love how encouraging Yaisa has been in the Step Mastery group. And I think you're going to just hear that shine through in this podcast. And I just really hope you're able to listen to all of it. Even if you have to start and stop a little bit, if you get interrupted, it's really well worth the listen. So hope you enjoy listening.
Hello and welcome to Yaisa. Thank you so much for being with us today. Honestly, we are just so thrilled to have you on and interview you today. You have been sharing such meaningful and encouraging and thoughtful work within our Step Mastery Facebook group, and we just had to extend an invitation to interview you because we have just been so excited by all that you have been sharing. So welcome, welcome. We are so glad to have you with us today.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here and flattered and honored.
Yes. Well, we just really like to pinpoint every now and again some of our members who have just been very influential and just very thoughtful, like I said, in all that you have been sharing. And just wanted to give you an opportunity to come on with us and be able to share some of your experiences. So let's go ahead and hop right in. So will you tell us first, how did you first hear about Learn to Become?
It was what at the time might have appeared a random search, but it was definitely a God-sent find. I had just started a new contract, and that place was so many levels of disastrous that I was crying probably twice a week.
Oh my.
Not the soft, gentle tears of frustration, but this was the heart-wrenching sobs of how do I get through this, because I had a contract. I couldn't just say, I'm out. And so I decided to go on an online search and see there has to be a solution. And somehow I landed on your 1 hour, tutorial. You know what I mean? The
Yes,
1 hour,
that free webinar probably
the free
some of
webinar.
those.
Thank you. That's the word. The webinar. Your free webinar. And I thought, the cost is a little bit higher than I feel comfortable, but this feels like the right solution. So I'm going to take the leap of faith. And I can tell you that that was it. I just haven't looked back. It was probably just through the webinar, I had so many this is how I manage work. And then I started going through the modules, and it was this, I can tell you that within 2 weeks, I just felt completely so much more in control of my job. And the chaos was still there. I mean, those people could just not figure it out, but it didn't matter because I had my system. And whatever they threw at me, now I had a way. And I was still working the long hours because they couldn't figure things out. But I had a system in place. I no longer felt out of control. I no longer felt that despair of I am drowning here. And so all of a sudden the work didn't change, but I did. I had that power. I just, and that, I think that's the best way to say it. I felt like I had reclaimed my power. And so I could have peace because no matter what they threw at me, I had a way to channel that and flow through it and see it to the other side. And it didn't become perfect, right? They were still chaotic and it was still a toxic environment. And thankfully I got out everything aligned. But while I was there, I had a way. And that was just so incredibly transformative and really the beginning of so many new and exciting things that have come after that.
Yeah, it's so interesting to hear the perspectives of what those pain points were originally that brought people into the STEP program. And it definitely sounds like it was the answer that you were looking for, because my goodness, that had to be a very difficult situation to be in. And, now that it kind of brings me back to that whole concept of, instead of, your life kind of being in control of you, but like flipping that verse, so to speak. And it's like you are taking back control of your life somewhat.
Right. My life, my career, my time, and it's not perfect. In all of it, I've come to have peace in the imperfection. And, I love how April, at one point, she had this realization, right, that we can have a multiple choice perfect day. And so that was something that helped me as well, because I come from a background of overachieving and perfectionism. And so learning to let go and saying, you know what, I just need a trusted system. I don't need a perfect system. I don't need a perfect day. I need a trusted system that if the day goes down the rails, because it happens, I'm still at peace because I know that I can put everything aside and know exactly where to pick up when my life comes back to normal, because there are seasons and I can now flow with the seasons because my system supports me. And I can very quickly set it aside. I mean, just the other day, I was getting ready in the morning and I was like, wait, I have to write this down. And then I go and I'm like, I already wrote it down. It was already there. But now I know that it's there. Apparently, I did it on autopilot and I had forgotten that I had done it. And I'm like, this is exciting. It's so automatic now that I forgot that I had already done it.
Oh.
And so, but there's just this level of peace. And I'm one of the, I don't know if unique is the right term, but I'm one of those people that my job requires that my job is independent from my personal life. So I have a unique and complete command central at work. and then I have my own independent at home.
Oh, fabulous.
And so I have to manage both. But my personal time and my work time are so distinctly different that my command centrals are completely different. And it's amazing because I actually have that segregation. I can actually shut down my computer and pick up my personal life, and they both work. They're different, but they work. And the probably a message that you see almost every time I comment to somebody, it's, this is about your trusted system. And if you give yourself permission to apply the principles in a way that is authentically yours, the sky is the limit. Because you get excited about using it. You're not forcing yourself to fit someone else's method. You're allowing the methods to fit you. And so to a lot of people, I say the principles are solid. Don't disregard the principles, but the application is more fluid. If the way that the module is teaching it to you doesn't feel natural, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just a matter of experimenting.
Yes.
Be your own little scientist, right? Get excited about experimenting and find that opportunity. Allow yourself. And that was, I think, one of the biggest blessings that this program has brought to me is that I got to know myself, the real me. Because when things didn't fit at first, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm this terrible person. How can I be so blah, 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 right? And we all do that at one time or another. We have all done that. But then, I don't know when, but somewhere in this journey, I realized it's not that there's something wrong with me. It's that I am trying to be someone that I am not. So what if I looked at that module again, watched that video, read that information again, and I thought, okay, what is this trying to teach me? How can I implement that in a way that it's meaningful to me, that it's authentically mine, that fits how my mind and my life works? And that's when my trusted system came to be. I don't do, I can actually show you. This is the extent of my paper command central.
Oh, wow.
I don't do paper.
Very compact.
I like paper. Well, and I hardly use it.
Yeah.
I have it because sometimes I want to be able to shove a piece of paper somewhere.
Yeah.
But this is it. I don't do paper. I don't like paper. And every time a paper comes into this house, I look up my husband and go, how can we put that electronically? Because I do not like managing paper. And meanwhile, right, when you see April's and other people's, they love paper. They have their cubbies and their desks and their things. And I look at that and I'm like, that is amazing. But that's not me. I was failing when I was trying to do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I took a step back and I thought to myself, okay, what is she gaining from that, right? What is the value that they're gaining from that? What principles are the ones that are truly adding value to them? And how can I implement that in a way that I can gain the same value in a way that I can maintain it? And that's when things really turned around for me. And that's, like pretty much maybe 2 out of 3 people that I will sometimes comment, it's always that. Give yourself permission to get to know yourself and experiment and expand and find that authentically yours, and you will soar.
I love that wisdom so much. And just that concept about experimenting, and also what you shared about like how it helped you to just really get to know yourself. And I tell you, that's one of my most favorite things about going into the Step Mastery group, where we can see other people's photos and just how much creativity there is in every single command central that's out there. Because
Right.
I mean, the shocking truth is there's not a single one that is exactly alike. In our tens of thousands of members, there's never going to be one that is exactly like another. Just like we are complete individuals, the
Right.
command centrals are also completely, based on that individual and their own needs,
Right.
their own creativity, and also just kind of how their brain works, because some people are a
Right.
little bit more one way and others are maybe, steered a little bit different. And there's
Right.
just so much room for them to really adapt it and make
Right.
it own.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I'm all celebrate you. You are uniquely and wonderfully made, and your command central should reflect how amazing you are and fit you, not the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. So just out of curiosity, have you tried any type of organizational methods like in the past, or as you've kind of gone through different shifts through your life? Have you tried other programs or
Uh,
methods?
yes, nothing as complete as this. I've tried a couple other things, and they were just too gimmicky.
Got it.
A lot of catchphrases, but not much on in the form of implementation. And that's one thing that I loved about this program is that you have a complete system. If you give yourself permission to go through the process and experiment, you end up with a complete system. And I love that because I still needed to get to know myself, and I still needed to understand how I process information, but I didn't have to figure out the moving pieces. And in my case, it was more of that because my natural tendency is very simple, minimalist,
Mhm.
and not on principle, but just I mean, like you saw, that's my command central, right? I just like very
Yeah.
I don't like volume. So there are things within the program that I would look at them and I would start getting overwhelmed, and I would ask myself, why is this overwhelming? And I was like, it's just a step that you're not going to maintain it. You're just not going to maintain it. So either figure out how to incorporate it in some other way or let it go. And so um, that's one thing I love about this program is the fact that I had a complete system, and then all I needed to do was remove the things that didn't fit with my personality and my way of thinking. But I haven't eliminated them entirely. I have set them aside and say, well, maybe someday in the future I will need it, and it's a tool available at my disposal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have yet to find, I stopped looking, let's be honest. Once I found this one, I stopped looking. But even in what I have seen in the past, and because the nature of my job requires that I stay up to date with, what's the technology and your productivity tools and all of that, I haven't yet found one that is as complete as this one and also has that human touch, because so many other programs lack that human touch. Even when you're watching the modules, it feels real. It feels authentic. It feels like they're talking to you, not talking at you. And so there is something very special about this program.
I love that. I remember sharing with you one of the quotes that you had shared when you were encouraging another one of our members, and you were saying, if your system works for you, then you aren't missing anything. And just,
Right.
it was just a beautiful comment, because I think, maybe that member was looking for a little validation, because they're like, well, maybe my system doesn't look exactly like April's. And,
Right.
is this okay? Like kind of like being fearful or whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just so wonderful, just to kind of affirm her and, help her to know that how she was doing it was a-okay. And, that again, just that there can be so many different ways. And I know that I still, to this day, like I just hit my 9-year anniversary from like when I first joined and implemented this program into my own life. And I'm like, wow, like 9 years ago. Like,
Right.
and I just can't even tell you how many times I've like tweaked my own system and
Right.
tried different planners or tried being a little bit more digital or being a little bit more hybrid. And I find so much fun in that. Like I'm a little,
Right.
geeky in that way. Like I
Right.
love
Experimenting.
organization, always have
Right.
since I was a young child. And it's like,
Right.
that's half the fun of it, just being able
Right.
to go and try different things and to see what works. And also, I think it's a key point to mention too, is that what may work well in one season of life, like may not necessarily serve
Right.
you as well in another season of life.
Right. And for me, it was, when I first joined that company that I was working, um, their set of tools was completely different than they are for the company that I'm working now.
Mm.
So I had to reinvent my entire professional command central to fit the tools
Oh, so
that
interesting.
that are available in my current job. Even at home, I started paper, and then I was just like, I can't do it. This isn't going to work. I don't like writing. I don't like handwriting. I've gotten better at it, but I really dislike handwriting. So then I went to digital, but the tool that I wanted didn't exist at the time. I knew that Asana wasn't going to work because I had a very clear vision of what I wanted. And so I told myself, the tool doesn't exist yet. So don't try to learn Asana. Don't try to force yourself to make Asana fit, because it's just going to be an exercise in frustration. So I went and I found a simple tool that I could make work for me that I already knew how to use. And I sat with that for 4 years until the technology that I was hoping for became available. And then I jumped right in and I transitioned from the one tool to the other.
Oh, fantastic.
And so coming back to that quote, yes, I say that often, and I say it with love and compassion because it's coming from a recovering perfectionist overachiever who understands that a lot of time when we come with that level of baggage, we see instruction like the modules in this program, we tend to see them as a letter of law. And if we're not doing exactly what they're saying, we're failing. And so anytime I hear somebody going, what am I missing? What's missing? What am I getting wrong? What's going on? I feel it. I've been there. And so in the off chance that that's what's happening for that person, then I want to offer that assurance. The only thing that you need here out of this program is to end up with a trusted system. Mm. And if you have a trusted system, then you have succeeded. And you can go on and live your life. And that's okay. Because that's really all we're trying to do for you, is for you to have the peace of knowledge and the peace that comes with having a trusted system.
I think there's a definite theme here that I keep hearing this word, and it's trust. Mm-hmm. And, I know a lot of times in conversations, I come back to the word safe. And that's kind of the word that drew me. Like, for the first time, I felt like everything was safe. And it goes right along with that same word, trust. Because once you feel safe, once you can trust, I mean, it's like it opens up this whole new world, and all of a sudden your brain can start to think again, instead of having to not only be responsible for being like creative and thinking and processing, but it was in the past like responsible also for like holding all the pieces and making sure nothing got dropped through the cracks and whatnot. Exactly. And so it truly is just like learning to get to know a whole new version of yourself when you actually can let all of that sit and be in your trusted system, and your brain is just like, wow,
I have so much brain capacity now. The opportunities. What do I do now with all of this brain capacity? Look, I have room for hobbies now.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's one of the things we do talk about now, or just here within our program and within our business. It's not just about, having a productivity system and like cramming out more things each day like a little robot.
Mm-hmm.
They're much more concerned about helping others to have a very well balanced life, and being able to be present and be able to be there for their relationships and whatnot. So is there anything that you would say that you've noticed with yourself as a being now, whether it be like emotionally, mentally, physically, versus your pre-step self?
Oh, for sure. One is that I actually have brain capacity to be creative. And I also had the mental energy to pursue other things that I would have not otherwise. And because I have a trusted command central at work, when the workdays ends, I can clearly and safely shut work and go into home mode, and I'm just calm because I know that when I get back to work tomorrow morning, it'll be there. I will know exactly what I need to do. In fact, it's 11. It was 11 in the morning, so the middle of my morning, my work morning. And just before I stepped away, I went to my command central and I wrote myself a few notes so that when I get back to work, I know exactly where I left off and I am here, relaxed and enjoying myself, because I know that when I get back to my work desk, I know exactly where to pick up. I know exactly where I left off and what I'm supposed to be doing. And I actually have a page for the things that I already know today that I need to do next week. And you know what? I'm not worried about them because I wrote them down in my command central. And when I get back to work next Monday, they're going to be right there waiting for me. And so it's that level of peace, that level of comfort. There's no money that can buy that. It's just so amazing. And so, in the same note, my relationships have improved because my poor husband was the one who helped me on those sobbing days and not knowing how to help me. And now it's like, all right, work is done. Let's go. Let's hang out. Let's do stuff. Let's have a life. I no longer, Saturday, Sundays, I don't think about work. Excuse me, because I have a command central. And on Friday, I dumped my entire brain into my command central. And then I just go and enjoy my weekend. And then it's there. Worst case scenario, I forgot something. And because I work from home, I'll just go be like, I'll be right back. I'm going to write myself a sticky note. And I put it on my monitor. And that's it. I can leave work behind. So yeah, so many things. My dad had emergency surgery a couple of years ago, and it was life-saving emergency surgery. And I live in the Pacific Northwest. My dad lives in the Caribbean. I was flying for 4 to 6 weeks at a time to take care of my dad while doing my job full time. And my brother has young kids, so he couldn't. And so the first thing I did, well, maybe second after he, you know what I mean, but yes, around there, top 3, was create a dad command central. And so I created a notebook, a digital notebook, where I was keeping track of all of the medical stuff. And it was with me everywhere I went. I created a digital list. And so that was shared with my brother, and I would delegate to my brother. I'm in the Caribbean, he's over here, and I'm delegating things to me. You got to take care of this because I'm full-time taking care of that. And so it was amazing because I was able to make a very mini command central that allowed me, in the midst of dealing with my dad and managing my job full time, plus managing things, because there are things that I'm responsible for at home and I'm able to delegate them to my husband. And at this point, it felt like I had 3 different command centrals going on at the same time. But that's how my brain works. And so this goes back to the thing is that if I had one command central, that would have been just way too much for me, because in my case, in that moment, I needed to compartmentalize. So when I'm thinking about home, I could go to my home command central, get up to speed, shut it down. I'm okay, home is in order.
Mhm.
And then I'm at work and I would do the same thing. And then I'm dealing with that. And so then I would fly back home to recharge, and my brother would fly down, and he had everything he needed right there.
Mhm.
He picks it up where I left off. And then if he was the one there, then he might be delegating to me over here. But I didn't have all of that mental thing that would have happened if I was trying to keep up with my home, my work, and my dad all in my head. That wasn't a thing. I just managed it all. Yeah, it was still a little bit stressful. I mean,
Sure, of course. That's an incredible story that you just shared. And, what a great example of a real life experience, because we all have those things that come at us out of nowhere that we
right.
weren't expecting, but you were able to just step into that with, again, I mean, of course, there's going to be some stress and some emotions,
Right.
all the things, especially with a life-saving surgery for someone that you dearly love. But to be able to hear how you just adapted and created that little kind of like a pop-up step command central,
Right.
to kind of help serve not only you, but your brother as well. And just kind of to, set that groundwork and set up that format so he could just kind of step into it.
Right.
Be able to, kind of like tag team, like, okay, your turn
Right.
to,
Right.
flip flop
Exactly.
back and forth. Wow, that is just an amazing story. Thank you so much
Right.
for sharing that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and that just goes to show that this is a complete system that you can adapt to any circumstance. And I still have the notebook because that's where I keep track of his medications. I mean, I had to buy him special shoes. I had to do all these things. And, he's going to need shoes again soon. And so now I can just go back to my resources notebook and go, okay, what did I buy last time? What did he say about them? And now I know what to do. And so I don't have to keep track of all of that in my head.
Yes.
And so I just love that this program, when you allow it, and when you allow to sell yourself to embrace it and receive it, it will fit. It will fit whatever life throws at you. You can use this program to get you through it. Or it's a tool, right? It's not going to be the only solution. But as someone who had to drop everything at the busiest time of the job and manage all of this, I can tell you it it works and it gets you through it.
Oh my gosh, I just love to hear this so much. So Jaisa, tell me, is there anything in particular as far as all the tools that make up the system that are especially near and dear to your heart, or do you feel like it's just a little bit of a balance of all of them?
I would say projects.
Mhm.
Projects was the thing that unlocked so much for me, because like so many people before they knew the term project, right? I just kept keeping all of these things as a single thing and never getting it done. And then I didn't understand why I was always so overwhelmed. And so then once I understood projects at a basic level, I realized how much of my life is projects. It was almost, for me, it was permission to recognize that some things are just complicated. And they don't have to be, right? Now I have a tool for okay, I'm not making progress on this. That must mean that there are steps that I am not acknowledging. Let me take a moment. Let me recognize it for the project that it is. Sometimes I don't even have to do anything other than go, oh, this is a project. Demystify it in my head. And 5 minutes later, it's done. But I needed to demystify it first. There are other times when it's a project because I need to heal emotionally. It's not getting done because I have a past trauma, a limiting belief, something. And I'm looking at that and it's not getting done. And I'm thinking, okay, this clearly something is happening.
Mm.
And it becomes a project because before I can do the physical thing, I need to work on myself. and I can give myself that permission. And so for me, the term project has almost become a word of freedom. It's a project. Okay, I have tools for that. I know what to do with that. Sometimes it needs to go into my command central as here are all the steps. And other times it's like you just need to sit down and write and journal and pray and heal, and then the thing will get done and you can move on.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love that perspective so much. And, just using that one tool of projects, and what April says so many times is like, oh, there's a problem. How can you turn it into a project? And when it's like, when you hear the word project now, you feel like, okay, this is a path to solving the problem.
Right.
And I think it kind of instills a little bit of hope, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
For sure.
And how it can go across all different facets of life too, whether it's work or personal, both. Like, okay, here's a problem. How can we turn this into a project? Okay, now that I know this, how can I break that down into a smaller step and a smaller step and a smaller step, and, really make it manageable from what once seems like this, overwhelming.
Daunting. Right. It goes from daunting to manageable, and it's amazing. It's such an amazing feeling of empowerment and reclaiming. I love that, because I feel like I'm constantly reclaiming my peace and reclaiming my clarity and reclaiming so many things that I had lost before I had these tools. And I'm still finding new and exciting ways that I can go, oh, I can apply that right here. Oh, look at that. It got done.
And then you are such a beautiful person, because not only are you in this process of reclaiming and finding and excitement and hope, but you're sharing it with all of us in the community, which is such a gift. I can't even tell you how much. It is just such a delight to, learn and grow together with not only you, but all of our community members, and, like I said earlier, everyone has their own way or their own system, but, all of a sudden what just like might click for you, like when you share that, oh my goodness, you're just sharing not only just one aha moment for yourself, but it's like when you share it with the community, it's just like, oh, there might be 100 other sparks that get sent from like, oh yes, this is exactly what I was missing, or exactly what I was looking for. And this is going to be able to solve my pain point that I was having. So
exactly.
Oh
yeah, I love going through, and I'm cautious that I only share when I know that I can add value, or I feel I can add value, but I still love going and reading people's success stories and remembering, right? Like, I was there once and I'm here now. And I see people who are further ahead of me. And once upon a time, that would have been a point of comparison. Now that's a point of hope. I can get there too, because I feel really good about where I am, but I also know that I still have a little ways to go. There are days that I don't open my command. I don't look at my command central all day. It's just like, I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Today, I just don't want to. And there are days that I open it and I'm like, look at that. You were overachieving yesterday. That's not happening. And so, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because I now have the grace to meet myself where I am. And tomorrow will be there. It'll be there. And if it gets done, it gets done. And if it doesn't, I allow myself the grace. And I just love seeing the people who have achieved things that they're aims for me. Oh, that looks really exciting. That looks awesome. I can aim for that, and just continue growing and experimenting and exploring. And I mean, this is learn to become, right? You continue to become, you continue to learn, you continue to do, you continue to become. And then you start over, because now that you've become, there's more for you to learn. And it's just such an amazing cycle. And I love being part of this community for that reason.
Gosh, that was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So let me elaborate. What encouraging words would you say to somebody who maybe is new to us, or debating joining, and maybe they think that they could just never be organized, and they're unsure yet because they haven't had those little success moments yet within STEP? Would you have any encouraging words for somebody who might find themselves in that position?
If someone is on the fence, I would say look no further. This is the place. And if they can afford to invest in Step Mastery, it's well worth the family, because it's an amazing community. And if you struggle, you'll find other people who are also getting started, and you won't feel alone. And you'll also find people who are succeeding, who can inspire you to move forward. And you will also just have an amazing community. I just love that we can post questions and be flooded with kind, generous, supportive answers. And we can post successes and have people absolutely celebrate with us. So if you're on the fence, I strongly encourage you to take that leap. If you're just now getting started, I would say believe that this works. Believe that it does work, and allow it to work for you. Give yourself unlimited permission to customize everything to fit the amazing person that you are. And let us support you along your journey.
I love that so much. Again, you're just such a natural encourager. And I think that there is going to be a lot of people who resonate with so many things that you said today.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there were just so many great little tips and whatnot that, they're just so relatable. And I couldn't agree with you more on all of the points that we talked about today. For myself as well, truly, it was transformational. And my life before STEP versus my life after STEP, I'm like, why didn't I find this sooner in my life? Because so many of the things, I mean, there is so much logic behind it and common sense. It's not hard. Maybe it's a topic or a label that you haven't heard before, but it just all fits, and it all makes so much sense once you bring it all together. And I know my entire family has benefited so much, and my career as well. And I, for one, am also forever grateful for the system. So, well, please tell me anything else that you would like to share from your heart about your system, anything else that we haven't touched on before we wrap up our call today. It has been such a joy speaking with you, but anything else that is on your heart, I definitely want to give you a moment if there is anything else you'd like to share.
I would probably say to anybody who's trying to implement everything and it doesn't feel right, it's okay to let it go. I don't have a someday, and I don't have a tickler. They don't fit me. They don't fit who I am today. They might fit in the future, but they don't fit who I am today. And I made peace with that. And I can have a trusted system without them. And I am successful without them. So it goes back to trusting, and not just trusting the system, but trust yourself as well. You know yourself better than anybody. Amazing as this program is, it is still guidelines on ways that on tools. I like to think of this as tools in my toolkit. And right now, the tickler, for example, and the someday and the read review, because I'm so digital, right? I don't have anything paper. I avoid paper. But this version of me that I am today, those tools did not fit my trusted system, but they're still part of my toolkit, and someday they might fit. And so a trusted system is one that fits you. And if something doesn't fit today, it's okay to let it go and set it aside And someday it might fit, and it may never fit, but that's okay, because it's still uniquely and authentically yours.
Oh, beautiful. My goodness, I tell you, what a joy this has been. I truly feel like your wisdom is something that just, again, will truly resonate with our entire community, those who are currently present in our community, and those, I think, who are soon within our community, because there is just so much. I think we can just see that peace within you and that calm nature, and just that you are truly owning your life and your choices and finding all of those tools, specifically the ones that you can use to fit you in your current lifestyle, and making your command centrals completely your own, fitting you, like you said, in your work environment there, as well as your personal home environment. And I just love that you are just really taking ownership of it all, and just making your life a beautiful thing to for all of us to witness.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Yaisa, for being with us today. I can't express enough how much we appreciate you, and again, just that leadership and guidance that you are providing in our STEP community. It's truly amazing, and we are forever grateful for you.
Thank you. I am so blessed to be a part of this community and everything that I have learned and grown since I joined.
All right. Wasn't that wonderful? I am so grateful that we have our community members who are willing to take their time and share these experiences with us. And if you'd like to go and read the bullet version of just some quick notes about this podcast, and also find any links to our STEP program, our Rise membership, you can find that at learndobecome.com/episode 309. And we're so grateful to have you here with us at Learn to Become. And if you'd like to share this episode with a friend or two, or on social media, we would always love to have you do that. And you can share that. The link I just shared is a perfect one to share with a friend who might be brand new to Learn to Become. So have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time here at Learn to Become Radio.